Look, we're stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for words, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us in chains, a fish on a hook.
Look, harvesting our bodies, harvesting our organs. Got them real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door. Selling our souls, our daughter's a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more. Don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cup when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello, all my Macam people. Welcome to another Macam Make a Culture Move podcast, where we cover everything from intense social topics to funny social trends. We're your host, Mark Jonathan.
G.
And as always, we have a wonderful segment for you all today. But before we get started, if we could have our brief disclaimer.
So here, I'm Macam, we talk about a lot of controversial things from everything, politics, economics, cultural, entertainment. We talk about it all. We talk about it all, right? And, sometimes people don't agree with us. And if you sometimes feel some type of way about the things that we say, I just want you to take a small moment, take a step back, and just think about why it made you feel some type of way. And then after you think about it, hit us up and we're going to talk about it, because that's what we do. We like to talk about it. You feel me? But with that being said, welcome to the Make a Culture Move podcast.
Yes, sir. So as you guys can see from the title and maybe the description, we're going to focus today's topic around this question here. So what are things that we don't recognize as traumas? And then we don't like to offer just problems to you all. We're going to give some solutions along with that. So starting off, we're going to visit childhood traumas. All right. So just starting off for me. Okay, I think a really big, basically the overall description of what I mean by childhood traumas are just things that we were exposed to early that shapes how we act and view things now. So I think the biggest, or not necessarily the biggest one, because I don't want to put them in order, but single parent households. I think what that does for us is a psyche for men. I feel like we start to think that it's okay to leave the women alone to raise a child. Negative. And for women, I think it builds this sort of independence because the mother teaches her daughter the only thing she knows how, or one of the things that she knows well, I should say, which is not needing a man. And what that does to in our society is, when you're constantly told how much you're not needed, how much you're not valued in a society that already doesn't value us, like that just separates us and creates diversion. What you think about that?
I agree with that 100%. And the single parent household was usually a mother taking on both the mother and the father role. It's very intoxicating. It's one of those things where it's like a blessing and a curse, because it teaches you that hustle, that grind, that just strong mentality, right? But at the same time, it's intoxicating because that's not how families are supposed to be. It's not supposed to be just one parent. It's supposed to be two, and oftentimes it's not one parent because the other parent is deceased, right? That's different. That's a different scenario, right? It's usually because just one parent just ain't in the picture, right? But I think, we talk about a lot, the single parent household, but it's also the two parent households that lack structure, because it's a lot of two parent households that are toxic. It's not the structure that it's supposed to be, it's
You said it right,
Um,
toxic.
yeah, toxic. Like for example, you'll have maybe two parents in the household. Maybe one's an alcoholic. That's toxic. Or maybe you have maybe one parent's abusive. That's
Right.
toxic, right? Like um it's those things. And I think for the Black family, it's that what happens in this house stays in this house mentality. That's toxic. It's
Hmm.
toxic because it teaches us that we're not even allowed to go out and seek help from nobody or talk about what's going on in the household, and that uh has it keeps you to hold it in when you gotta get it out to somebody who's not in the space and the surroundings so you can have an unbiased opinion, and get that help that's needed. And I think that's a big one. I don't want to rank it, but I do think that what happened, for whether it's a two-parent household or a single parent household, that just whole mentality, what happens in this house stays in this house. I get it to a certain degree, right? There are certain things you need to teach your children to not, but at the same time, if you're that positive example, it shouldn't be no controversy. Like, you shouldn't be worried about your kids going out saying what's going on in the house, because that structure is proper, and whatever they're going to say, you can back it up with facts, and it's not going to be anything negative. So
Facts.
that's where that comes in. It's that what happens in this house stays in the house mentality comes from toxic families, when there's so much toxicity going on inside the home, but they don't want nobody outside the home to know about it. So that's when pain builds up and anger builds up, and those cycles repeat
Cycles.
with the children. You feel me? Because the children are growing up in that toxicity, and that's all they know. You feel me? We only know what we know. We only
Hmm.
know what we know from our parents, our grandparents. Even they only knew what they knew. You feel me? And now we only know what we know. Gotta learn from them and their mistakes, but we only know what we know. So it's
Absolutely.
like, I don't know. That's what I think. That's one of the
Absolutely.
traumas I recognize.
No doubt. So just continuing on this idea of childhood traumas, I think another big one is being exposed to sex too early.
Absolutely.
Whether it be, just like the people you hanging around exposing it to you, or unfortunate cases like molestation or rape. That stuff really messes with the psyche. There's a lot of people that I know personally, that have been sexually assaulted very young, and now they view, or they base their relationships off of what someone can give them. You feel me? Or not even that, but like, you can tell there's no real love in it because they were taken advantage of too early. You feel me? They're no longer
Exactly.
vulnerable, not innocent. Uh, and how this affects us is those same type of people can go out and be anything from pimps and prostitutes to being early. Oh, we got comments. Uh,
That
early.
was me.
Okay. What am I trying to say? Like early parents, like parents really young.
Early civilization. So in one of Phil's podcasts, King Philip, they were talking about how parents nowadays want to be friends with their kids, and I feel like that's because parents are not in that 25 to 35 age gap of having kids anymore. They're not starting
Hmm.
at 14 to 20, when in that age range. And really, you feel me, like here at Macon, we consider adult, youth, stopping at 26, right? Like we cap our youth age at 26 for the youth age. So if that's how we're looking at the youth, seeing so many youth have kids at the ages between 14 and 26, right? It's like you're not even ready yet, because you're still a youth. You still got to grow and develop. So when you're having kids that young, it's like you're so close in age, like you don't want them to feel like you're belittling them or hurting them. Like that discipline, they're scared of discipline. They're scared of discipline, scared to discipline their kids.
Exactly.
And it's like, nowadays you see a lot of parents who are scared of their kids. I don't know. I don't really say scared of their kids, but it's a lack of community because they don't want other people to, help them tap in with disciplining your kids. There's no guide onto how to be a parent.
Exactly. And just to add to the point that you made a little earlier, that whole idea of keeping what happens in the house inside the house, you feel me? If we continue to have that mentality while these traumas are going on, it's only going to go down to the generation that comes after us. You
Yeah.
feel me? Not dealing with those traumas when they happen is only going to create them cycles that you was talking about.
So
Cause man,
I got, a bit of a solution to this, and tell me how you feel.
go ahead.
So, um, one thing that I see that Black families lack, and not all, but a lot of them lack, is communication between parent and child.
Absolutely.
So, a solution to that, simple, is family meetings. There's no reason why you should have to hide anything from your children, right? And your children shouldn't feel the need that they have to hide anything from you, because when your children see that you're hiding stuff from them, they're just going to adapt that nature and just hide stuff from you naturally. So you have to be
Facts.
open with your kids so that they're open with you. That's how you build that trust. Like, it's expected for a child to trust a parent, but why? If what you're telling me is not what you're doing, and what I'm seeing
Exactly.
you do is not what you're telling me to do, so I'm doing what I'm seeing you do and not what you're telling me to do, and that causes controversy and problems, right? So
No doubt.
simple solution: family meetings. When stuff is going on, whether it's family internal, whether it's external in the world, and you need to school your children on what's going on outside the world, family meetings. Sit down together, talk about it, ask your kids, do they know what's going on? Inform them in an appropriate manner. They don't need to know detail by detail, but in an appropriate manner, explain to them whether it's internal or external, because you have to school your kids on what's going on in the world too. You can't shelter them from that,
Because they going to go find it.
because they're gonna go find it.
But do you know the show My Wife and Kids?
Yeah, yeah,
So, they constantly used to do this, like a family meeting, what you was talking about, where they had
yeah.
no repercussions. So, as a child, if you did something that your parents wouldn't necessarily approve of or agree with, that's your chance to
Yep,
go ahead
talk
and lay
about
that
it.
on the table. And then
Exactly.
because there's no repercussions, hopefully, because, sometimes my parents used to
And
tell me,
it depends. And some things do cause form, but it depends on how extreme. But if you have that open line of trust and communication, is that
yeah,
no repercussions is cool. It makes sense. It makes sense because I'm being open and honest with you. I'm not lying to you. I'm not sneaking behind your back. You feel? I'm not doing none of those things.
facts.
I'm being upfront with you. And if it's something I'm not sure or confused about, I'm coming to talk to you about it. You're giving me answers. And I think also parents need to learn to talk to and not talk at.
True, but it also builds that connection between parent and child that is so desperately needed nowadays
Yeah.
because without it, I've seen the worst happen, like 15-year-olds running away from their house because they feel like they're not being heard or that their
Yeah.
parents just wouldn't understand. And like, that leaves them uh able to be kidnapped, taken advantage of, all types of stuff. And man,
It leaves them open to the streets, and the streets don't let
exactly.
them.
Nobody. You feel
The
me?
streets. Do.
And I say this, and it kind of goes back to the single parent households as well, and having that structure. Because I will say that it's not enough to just have two parents. Is you got to have structure within the household. So I agree with that completely.
You
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 know,
do, and with that though, it's like family.
hmm
Family is important. You feel me?
take
You
a
can't
village.
raise your kids by yourself.
Take a
You
village.
because there's no rule book on being a parent. Nobody's done it perfectly. So there's no
hmm
rule book on being a parent. So it's like you can't raise your kids by yourself. Somebody in your family has done it before that you can go and seek help from. So that's where that village and that community is so important, and that line of communication. When you're being
hmm
taught in the home to not communicate and shelter your emotions and your feelings, you don't know how to talk to people.
Exactly, and establish that early too. You feel me? Because these kids is with the media nowadays. These kids is learning about stuff through media before you even get the chance to teach them it. The birds and the bees, when I learned it at 15, didn't even like
It's not even the
matter
birds and the
then.
bees anymore. It's do do do. We going do do do.
Yeah,
You know
trying
what I
to
mean? It's
tell
the get
you.
down. Like they get straight to it now.
Exactly.
Um, it's no
No filter or
yeah,
nothing.
no filter. It's no sacredcy in it, and that's man. It's really up to us to change that. Like and no, we're not gonna be able to do it by ourselves. Our children might not be able to do it, you feel me, or their children, but we gotta start. And that's the thing. We have to start because we recognize it so prevalently that we talk about it so often that we actually gotta do it. Thing is, we're not parents, you or me.
Mm-mm.
You or me. So it's like we can talk about it because we see these traumas and we can try to help, but parents gotta want to accept that help, and you can't help people who don't want to be helped.
Absolutely. But that kind of bring me to my third childhood trauma, and you kind of spoke on it a little earlier. But it's really just the hypocrisy, or parents being more often than not just we hear often, do as I say and not as I do. Why not walk in what you want your children to be or do or however? You feel me? Like I feel like my parents have done the best that they can to give me a perfect or not or near perfect, I'll say that, example of what it is to love your spouse. And then, perfect examples of loyalty, working together, figuring out situations. So now, who would I be to not give my children the same thing that I was blessed with? Because I know
Right.
so many people that aren't blessed with, don't know their parents. Parents is on drugs, the whole nine. You feel me?
See,
So,
and that's deep because like that's just something so cherishable and so much to value in that.
absolutely.
Because like in my household growing up, we was literally being taught two different things. Like it's beautiful to hear, with your parents, they were on the same accord. They had the same plan, same agenda. You feel me? It was them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like in my household, it wasn't like that, right? It was my mom teaching us the right things. You feel me? Trying to be the best example of a parent that she can be, and my dad was the complete opposite, the complete opposite. So we were literally learning two different things. Where my mom, she, it was weird. You feel me? Because like my mom and my dad, say they're on the same accord, same page, boom, bam. But my mom would do the walk, and my dad wouldn't do the walk. So he's just doing the talking, but doing a completely different walk. So it's like we were being taught two completely things, and that's the toxicity, right?
No doubt. But you feel me? Like, as far as this is kind of a different conversation. But the thing I admire about my parents the most is that they're going on 28 years upcoming November. Like our generation can't even fathom marriage, let alone 28 years
Mm,
of being loyal and working together.
mm.
Man. And I
That's
feel like
deep.
exactly, I feel like not having it is one of the biggest childhood traumas that our people experience.
It
Because
is.
know
It
how to
is.
walk in that love and loyalty, and they're only taught disappointment, disloyalty. Um,
Because that example doesn't just teach you that for your spouse, but it teaches you that for all relationships that you go through in life. And so many of us grew up and not having that example.
yeah,
So you feel me? We have to figure it out on our own. So we need more examples like that in the Black community. And it's like I don't. That's it's just beautiful to even hear like the 28 years because, um, you know what are the Medea movies? One of them. You know, she says, when you marry somebody, you gotta be prepared to marry them. You marrying like 28 different people. You're going to go through many different chapters in life. You can't be the same person you was when you first got married 28 years later. Because y'all
Hmm.
done been through some stuff. Y'all done had kids. You feel me? Done went through finance issues, all types of problems that brought you closer, almost tore you apart, all types of things. So you have to be prepared to, marriage is supposed to be for life. And so many people run to divorce the first problem that they have because they don't know how to face conflict. And that's a problem. It's like you feel
In
me?
a
You
healthy
gotta
way.
you have to heal first. You have to heal first to get to that level. And even if you don't heal first, you have to be willing to heal with somebody. If y'all are both two broken people and y'all know that, but the love is so strong, then be willing to work on each other and with each other to grow. But like that's a lot like our generation before us, right? Even run to divorce. So that's why the
Hmm.
marriage rates are not high, divorce rates are super high.
I mean, or even before you get to divorce, I know dudes that want to rack up baby moms, like, or I know females
Yes,
that want to be a baby mom. Like, I don't even understand that.
I couldn't
Like, why not
fathom.
strive to be a wife?
I couldn't fathom. And it's like,
And it's
I'm old
crazy though.
school. I'm old school. I have no problem with being a stay-at-home wife. If you are gonna
Right.
go out and work and pay all the bills and give me kids and you are my husband and we are in this together and I know that and you know that it ain't no question about it, then you do what you do because I'm gonna have my side hustles on the side anyways because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. But if I don't have to, and because that's what if I become a parent, that's what I want to be. I want to be able to be a full-time mom. I want to be
Honest.
able to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But women can't be full-time moms because they're baby moms. Your baby dad don't care about making sure you can be a stay-at-home mom. He wants to be out doing what he's doing and make sure you're working and driving your car while you're at work and possibly sleeping with your coworker.
Uh,
If you know, you know. But it's we gotta change that. We gotta just want better, strive for better, and it starts with we say it all the time, our identity and loving ourselves as the community, loving ourselves as Black people. You feel me? Truly falling in love with what it means to be Black, and you can fall in love with that, and then you fall in love with everything else that comes with it. And I don't know, I love hearing the stories, about the 28 years. That's
hmm
what I loved when I was working at Jared, seeing all like those couples that have been together for so many years coming in and up in the diamond size. Like, but to hear their actual stories is beautiful because you don't see it often.
Yeah,
You don't see, and like I said, you need that example in the home to teach you how to flourish in every other relationship that you have in life.
exactly. 100%. But on a lighter topic, transitioning a little bit, is the idea of avoiding hospitals and therapy. So we kind of spoke on it a little earlier. Keeping what happens in the house stays in the house. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, I'll let you open it
Uh,
up.
Okay, so I don't do the hospitals and stuff, and that's because there's not that many Black doctors, right? And that's me. I have to have. I want my doctors to be Black and be Black, my nurses to be Black and be Black. I want the whole establishment to be Black and be Black. And growing up in Colorado, you're not gonna really find that. You know, you'll have maybe a Black doctor, but the staff will be white, whatever. You feel me? I'm just not comfortable with that. That's me. You feel me? Um. And also, I just don't believe that hospitals are, if it's an emergency, like an emergency, go. But if it's something that you can fix it, because you think about it way back when they didn't have hospitals, they figured everything out. They figured everything out on their own. There's natural remedies for almost everything that they can give you a prescribed pill for. I don't believe that a doctor maybe white or black can prescribe the same medication to me that they would to a white patient, and it's gonna work the same because we're not the same genetically. So you feel me? I got a whole theory about hospitals and stuff. I don't even like to take pills and but the therapy,
Mm.
that one, um you know, I used to not believe in therapy. And my older brother used to say all the time, like, he used to tell my mom all the time, like, she's crazy. You need to put her in therapy. Like, something's wrong with her. You need to get her a therapist. And, you know, my mom, she's that type. She's like, no, like, I'm not for them to tell me that my daughter is crazy and they gonna put her on drugs and this, that, and no. You feel me? Um, but it's deeper than that. You know, and as an adult now, and I look back, you can, because I went to, you know, the school counselors and stuff at school because, you know, I had anger issues and this, that, or whatever. So, you know, I went and told them what I wanted them to know and what I felt like they wanted to hear, but I was never really completely open and honest. When I started seeing school counselors in middle school, I went like the first 6-7 months without saying anything. I would just go in the office and just sit there and read or write or do homework or whatever. Like, I wouldn't say anything at all. And therapy doesn't work if you don't talk. But also, I'm not telling white people my problems.
Mm.
I'm not telling, and that's who the school counselors and stuff were. I'm not telling white people my problems. But now as an adult, and I'm aware that there are black therapists, you feel
Not
me?
a lot.
I recognize the need. It's important. You need to have somebody to talk to with an unbiased opinion, somebody who's not going to judge your flaws or tell you that you're wrong or that you're right, but is going to really just talk to you about what it is that you feel and let you get your feelings, you feel me, out of your chest. And I've always been my best therapist to me.
Mm.
I have always, like, I grew up, I was the only girl for 20 years. I had nothing but brothers. I was my therapist. Like, I didn't have that connection with my mom or my dad to where I felt like I was going to be able to talk to them about my problems. I was my therapist, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy because
100.
you got me on social media. I have 2 Facebook pages. I literally counsel myself from one Facebook page to the other Facebook page at my will. You feel me?
This is a
Yeah.
true story. That's a true story.
Yeah, it is. So I do recognize that therapy is, especially for the black community, we got to talk about something. And it's so much that, I don't know, we just got to talk about things.
No, yeah, you definitely brought up some valid points. Uh, one of the biggest things that you mentioned is how, uh, dang, I hella lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so with hospitals, like we have this stigma that, oh, they're just gonna give me a drug for something that I have, but all the side effects are 100% worse than what I'm dealing with now. You feel me? That the thought of that, I know, scares black people, like from grandma to aunties, like, or even the situations where, you go to a hospital, you might not be feeling 100%, but you go in and then they tell you, oh, like, you
It's
had a cancer. Yeah, it's something a lot worse. Now you got that you paying for, stressing over, dealing with, however you want to look at it. But as far as the therapy goes, I do feel like there's a need for black therapists. And if we had more black therapists, we'd start seeing a lot more progress, a lot more opening up. Because it's hard to talk with somebody that doesn't identify with you or like know some of the struggles that you're going through. So I understand that 100%. But
Yeah, that's real, and
yeah.
so, I'm right now, I'm at a place in my life where it's like I have made it a PSA to, like, all my friends. You feel me? Like, I have a very small friend group or whatever, so it's not that many. But I had to let them know, you feel me? I can't help nobody with their problems right now, because
Mhm.
I'm that go-to person. Everybody comes to me with their problems, and you feel me? I don't know. I just have that. I have that listening ear naturally. My advice, people say it's always spot on because I'm blunt and honest. Like, I don't sugarcoat, I don't beat around the bush, and I'm not going to tell you what you might want to hear. I'm going to tell you how I feel about the situation truly, and you can take what you gonna take from it. I don't know what
Exactly.
like that's how I really get like I don't know how people deal with it, but it is, you know, and right now I'm not that person,
I feel that.
you know, and
Especially if
I'm
you
not that
going through
person
stuff
right
on your
now.
own. Especially if you're going through stuff on your own. But I'm kind of the same way. Like if you don't want me to be completely honest with you, because I'm not just gonna tell you when you're right. Like I'm gonna tell you when you're wrong, especially in private. Maybe not. You feel me? I'm gonna usually stand with you, but in private, you always gotta correct
Exactly.
bullshit.
Exactly. See, and that's, you know, also things that we have to reteach. That's loyalty. That's what
Yeah.
loyalty is, right? You feel me? If we out in public somewhere and you with somebody who you claim that you really love, that's your friend, your partner,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You feel me? And they are wrong. You know, don't humiliate them and belittle them in front of everybody. You feel me? If it's something that needs to be corrected right there, pull them to the side, like, hey, let me holler at you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't cool. You was completely off on that one. You got it.
No
You
doubt.
feel me? But you defend them. You and sometimes it's even if you got to make yourself look a fool. But that's loyalty. You don't
No
let
doubt.
nobody let who you love look like a fool. You go ahead and y'all look like fools together, and then when y'all get in private, like be like, hey, look, so that was some dumb shit. And you was wrong, but I wasn't gonna just let you go out like that. So you know we had to play it off how we did. But that's something that needs to be retaught heavily in the community is loyalty, and
Absolutely.
it goes a long way, right? We
Mm-hmm.
gotta trust people, and that comes with honesty, line of
No
communication.
doubt.
Know we have to know how to communicate, and that's knowing how to articulate your feelings and emotions, and that's hard. That's
Yeah.
hard.
But you kind of spoke on my next trauma when we spoke on the need for therapists, and it's this right here. So, teaching our kids the only success is through pro sports or singing and rapping. You feel me? Early on, we want
Mm,
our kids to put on a football helmet, be just like me. Daddy used to
mhm,
go crazy on the basketball court, so you gotta go crazy. Like, nah, there's a need for so many other things that make money and have careers and salaries, which is year-round pay no matter what happens. You feel me? Those are the things that we need. Like we had our guest on Friday that spoke about HVAC or learning a trade. There's plumbing, air conditioning. Those are stuff that you'll need year round. You feel me? Why not teach them how to do that so they have a career every
mechanics.
day of the year?
Yeah, that's real, and it's like these is cool and all, but these is talents. These
Mm-hmm.
are these are talents, right? These because and you can lose your talent at any moment. In sports, you can get injured at any given moment. Almost every sport is physical.
Mm-hmm.
You can get hurt at any moment. If you get hurt, you lose your value, losing your talent, losing your place. And now what you gonna do? With singing and rapping, that's a talent.
Right.
Let somebody come up and outshine you and have better talent than you.
It's over with.
It's over with. It's done. Let something happen to your vocal cords where you can't no longer perform vocally. It's over. So now what are you gonna do? But if you have, so if you, I mean, we got to change that stigma too. Look at those things as talents. Find you some. So that's great. You want that to be your career. That's a cool career too. But now you have to have a business on the side. So when something happens, if it happens, God forbid and it doesn't, if that's something you really love and want to do and you're good at it, but the unfortunate circumstance that it may happen, what's your backup plan? So if you don't want to have a corporate job, respect, right? Respect. Have a
Mm-hmm.
business though. Have something. You can have any type of business. And just because somebody else is doing it, find a way to do it better. I don't know. But you have to have something on the side keeping your
Facts.
money flow coming on, that residual leverage income, having it come in. So if something does happen for your talent, you can still survive in life.
And just another side of that is these fields that we mentioned here are extremely competitive, while stuff that we actually need, like black therapists, plumbing, HVAC, and trades like that, do not have a competitive field. I forget the percentage of kids that enter the NBA, but it's very very small that you make it to the NBA or play a professional sport, period, because of all the competition and the people that
Yes.
have opportunities ahead of you, or that's just more opportunities, period. Like those fields are so competitive, and we're not even knowing that you can make a decent salary just by learning how to change out of air conditioning or change some
Simple.
plumbing. Like our
Simple, right?
society is so built on this fast money aspect.
It's changed the stigma of the American dream. Like, you feel me? The American
Yeah,
dream was simply, just making it out of the hood, having a nice house, nice car, family, the family pet. You feel
exactly.
me? Living nice. You feel me? Decent. You feel me? Like you don't worry about bills. You can take vacations, this, that, and everything. Now it's dream. Right now, the American dream is a dream. It's the mansions and the fast cars and the yachts and the have the boat parties and the traveling to just party. That's the
Yeah,
American dream, to have a life just to party, and that's not realistic. For some people, you feel me? It can be, but it gets old and it gets tired. It
absolutely.
gets old and it gets tiring, and yeah, because I just lost my train of thought. So
But just speaking to that point, you feel me? We feel like we can only get to that mansions and traveling and all that through three ways, whether drug money, pro sports, or rapping and singing.
yep, and
You feel
that's not.
me?
It's so many other ways that you can get it. So it's like you got that financial literacy is real. Learn about it
Hmm.
however you got to learn about it, but learn about it. Teach your kids that they can be millionaires by 21, 19,
Exactly.
by learning how to trade stocks and you feel me, flip the government, right? That teach different ways, but you got to learn different ways in order to teach different ways. And
Hmm.
it's so many other different ways out there. It's like, but we need
And learn them
everything.
early.
It's nothing. It's we lack in everything except pro athletes and singers and rappers and actors and actresses, right? We
Hmm.
lack everywhere else except for those areas. We need everything else. We need everything else. We need the teachers. We need the therapists, the counselors. We need the doctors, the lawyers, the judges,
Mechanics,
the mechanics, the
carpenters,
plumbers, the contractors, right? The
and there's a
architects.
field for all of that. We're just
And
not taught that.
our minds can do it all. Our minds can do it all you got to do is put your mind to it and believe in yourself. There's nothing that we as black people cannot do. There's nothing that
Absolutely.
we cannot do. We can do it all because we've done it all. There is somebody in every field of life that you can think of that a black person has done, including presidency, right?
Hmm.
So you can do it all. There's nothing that you cannot do as a black person. And it's more. You can do more. You can be so much more than just the basics of what's shown to us on TV and television. You feel me? And on the radio, like it's
Exactly.
yeah. We gotta close that gap. We gotta flip those numbers. Which you feel me? I'm not saying we need to decrease the numbers in our pro athletes and our rappers and singers. You feel me? Because we are the best at that stuff. I don't want to see an increase in white athletes and singers and rappers. Right? I don't want to see an
Right.
increase in that. So I'm not saying I want to see our numbers decrease, but I just want to see our numbers increase in everywhere else. In every other field, I want to see our numbers increase. That's all I'm saying. You feel me? Because And with the pro sports, all I'm saying to y'all is add something to that. I'm not. Don't take it away. Don't
A
take it away.
backup
Don't
plan.
take it away. Right?
A
Don't
backup
take it away.
plan.
But add something to that, and finagle them at the same time, because we Black people are that amazing. We can walk and chew bubble gum.
Very well. And just to add to something that we didn't really mention, we are very artistic.
The best.
Like whether it's musically inclined or actually painting on a canvas. But we're taught that to suppress them type of things for sports and other stuff like that. You know, why not? Like when your
Yes,
son
I
banging
want to
on
see
these
so many
drums
more
really young,
dancers. like
man,
like ballet dancers. Right? I wish my mom would have put me in ballet. I was so mad at
contemporary.
my mom when I found out that she did ballet. Like, why wouldn't you put me in ballet? Like, I just like for real. Like, I did cheerleading. That was cool. But like, I want to just see more dancing like that. And for the males too. So like, there's this show on Netflix called The Family Reunion, and it's about is the right? But it's about a ex NFL player and his family who they moved back to his hometown with his parents, and one of the sons, you know, he's a little more on the feminine side. You feel me? But he's a little just more on the feminine side. He cooks. He loves to cook. You feel me? And that's how our society stigmatizes males who like to do that type of stuff. If they like to cook, they like to clean. You feel me? If they like anything domestic, they're feminine. That's
Hmm.
that's a trauma. That's a trauma. That is a huge trauma to teach our young boys that if they like to do anything domestic, that they're feminine. That's not the case, and we need to unteach that, right? But okay, back to my point. He want to try for the football team, made the football team, best running back you ever seen because he did ballet. And the movements that he learned in ballet helped him move on the football field and make him the best running back you've seen at 9 years old. Like, he was moving on the field, jumping over people, spinning and flipping. Like, you feel me? Like, it was just dope to see. But it's like, if we teach our kids that they can do so much more, um, because ballet is not a feminine thing. It's not a feminine thing. Teaching is it's a flexibility thing. It's a flexibility thing. Now, because of the stigma we put on it, that's
Right.
what makes it feminine. The stigma that we put on it. And that's what we have to unlearn and unteach. A straight man can very well do ballet. It's actually a straight woman is actually attracted to that type of stuff because she knows you can dance. She knows you can dance. You can move on your feet. You can move on your feet. You can pick me up and flip me in the air and spin me and catch me.
I'm weak.
That's attractive. That's kind of hot. Like, oh,
But
okay, you can do that. Like, oh, okay, all right.
but just checking out this comment real quick. Appreciate you,
Okay.
Charles. So I agree 100%. We have to teach our kids how to survive on a lot of different levels. That way, they will be well diverse in the legal way of the world. And nothing wrong with sports or rapping, but we do need to teach the boys how to be responsible men as well. 100%. As the girls nowadays, boys don't turn into men, or little girls don't turn into women.
That's
Absolutely.
yeah,
And it just
yeah,
kind of
that's
go back to what
true.
we was talking about. You feel me? Having them two-parent households with structure, being that example that you want to see in your kids. Like,
Yeah, it's deep. You
just
feel me? Because if you see that example, it's
period,
easy to
point blank.
transition into
Mm-hmm.
that. Is
Because
you
they
feel me?
see
And
it
that's
firsthand.
yeah, that's what it is. Where that's all life is. You have kids, and your kids grow up and transition into who you are. So
Mm-hmm.
who do you want to be for your child? Right? Like, what example do you really want to set? And like I said, there's no rule book onto being a parent. Nobody's ever done it perfectly, but you learn from your mistakes and you grow. You learn from your mistakes and you grow. And I think one of the hardest things in the world is having kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the hardest things in the world because you have to deal with really shaping and molding somebody's personality. And that's hard to do at 16 years old when you don't have a sense of identity.
Right, when you're struggling with yours, trying to figure out how to help them with theirs.
Exactly.
Man, but just transition into our last topic that kind of has its hands in everything that we really just talked about, but it's PTSS, so post traumatic slavery syndrome. All right, so this is kind of just that umbrella. You feel me? Because we spoke a lot about what we've been taught, the cause of these traumas. Me personally, I view it as or stemming from slavery. You feel me? They taught separation. They whether it was mentally where they destroyed our mind, our culture, and then forced us to do labor, or literally separating us from our homes. You feel me? They did it again in the 80s with crack cocaine. Uh, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it kind of just has its hands in all of the issues that we just talked about because of just the damage that it did to us. You feel me? It even colorism per se. You feel me? They taught light versus dark. Like we are black. Period. Like we are black, but it's seen as so much of a benefit to be light skinned. Or like I seen this post not too long ago. It was talking about Hispanic women versus black. It was like, how is it that a crazy Latina is viewed as good or sexy, but a crazy black woman is viewed as ratchet or ghetto? And I had to really take a step back, like hold on, like I definitely know some people. I've definitely been in that mindset. Now, crazy is crazy to me.
Crazy is crazy because I don't know
Like,
not Latina woman that won't stab you.
or black, I can't even lie.
Or black, but you feel me? Or black, and that's the
Yeah,
thing. We both gonna do it. We both gonna do
exactly.
it. So crazy is crazy.
Exactly, but we was just taught that favoritism to the lighter skin complexion. You feel me? All the light skins go in the house while the dark skins go out in the field. Like
It
like it
definitely
just shows the
divided us.
damage. A hundred
Yeah, it
percent.
definitely divided us. And slavery did a number on us. You feel me? It did a
Mm-hmm.
number on us. Okay. And for me, I want every black person, if they have the opportunity, to go to the National African American Museum in DC. Because it makes you feel so close to the culture, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and give this spoiler alert.
Go ahead.
The museum, it starts off the basement, right, the bottom level, as a slave ship. And it's
Mm.
literally like you're in a slave ship. And if you're there at the right moment where it's a lot of people, it feels like when I went, we went under like the grand opening weekend, and so of course it was a lot of people, and it literally felt like what it might have felt like on a slave ship. You couldn't turn around without touching somebody, or somebody being all up on you, or breathing somebody else's air. You just couldn't. And then gradually, as you work your way up through the museum and you get through each floor and you get to the top, like when I say I cried like a baby when I was in that basement. Like there's so many things, so many facts, so many artifacts that just made me feel so close. Because slavery was not that long ago, so it just made me
It
feel
wasn't.
so close. It made me feel so close to my ancestors. I cried like a baby when I was down there. And then as I worked my way up to the top, like my tears became like tears of happiness and joy and pride. I had so much pride by the time I got to the top of that museum, because it was everything that we've accomplished. All of our oppression that we've just accomplished. It was just like, it was so beautiful to see. And it was just so beautiful to see. And in that same trip, right? In that same trip, we had the opportunity, while we were waiting for the museum to open, we had an opportunity to go to either, one of the art gallery museums or visit the Holocaust Museum. And, I had zero interest in visiting the Holocaust Museum. None. And, I walked around for a little bit, and it did nothing for me. I couldn't fathom. I couldn't fathom how. I can understand, you feel me? Yes, it was a traumatic time, but y'all got paid for y'all's pain. Y'all got
Talk
paid for
about
y'all suffering. Y'all got y'all's reparations. We're still suffering. We're still suffering right now. Right now to this day. You can't tell me Jews ain't loved because look at Drake. So, like, and we're still suffering so traumatically. It's like we have yet to be paid, and now we're at a point where we want it 3 times over. Some of us want to be paid back in blood. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now, that some of us want to be paid back in blood. That's the trauma that slavery has done to us, that it's doing to us. I don't even want to say done, because slavery still, it's still traumatic, and it's still going on, right? It hasn't really ended. It's still going on. It's still present in today's time. So it's
hmm
what it's doing to us presently, currently, right now. It keeps us divided. It keeps us separated. It keeps us traumatized. It's a
man.
lot.
Facts, and even more so, it keeps us forgetful. You feel me? We were once kings and queens, but
Yes.
they'd have us believe that we're no more than the dirt that's at the bottom of our feet.
3/5 of a man.
Exactly. That was in the actual, that was written down. Like, black
Law.
men are 3/5 of a man. Like, we went from kings and queens to
To 3/5 of a
60% of a
man.
human.
Like, whoa. Tell
Like,
me, run that back, Turbo, and tell me, how does that make sense?
it don't.
It don't. We gotta get back to that worth and that value. We have it in us, right? You can't
hmm
tell me as a black person that you don't wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
just
amazing to be black. Y'all, it's about to be summertime. The
chocolate.
sun's about to be out. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that when that sun hits your skin, you're not feeling some type of way. You don't feel good. It feels good to be black. I love
hmm
how I see gold shining off of my skin in the summertime when the sun is just sparkling off of my skin. It's a
100%.
beautiful thing to be black. Can't nobody do it like us. We are the originals. And we have to get back to that worth and to that value. I don't know.
hmm
Like, black people, do we need to like physically start wearing crowns and stuff? Is that what's
Sure.
gonna help? Because I'm with it. I'm with it. If that's what we need to do to feel that worth and feel that power that we have, um, you feel me? Then that's what maybe we need to do. Let's get some
Hey,
crowns.
I'm
You
with
feel
it.
me? And walk around with it, because apparently the crown that we naturally carry is not enough. So we need
Right.
something to actually fit there and feel, or something.
Exactly.
I'm
But
sick of
it's
my
what you
black
spoke
people not
to.
feeling worthy.
hmm But it's what you spoke to earlier. You feel me? Learning and then knowing our identity. You feel me? And then through that, we can start to love one another and then hold each other to that value that we really do own within our hearts and that we once were. Because we're not 3/5 of a man. Like G said, we are the originators. Just plain and simple. It's not enough to
Plain and
carry the
simple.
crown. And that crown is heavy, as my MBK members might know. You feel me?
That crown is heavy.
That crown is heavy. But if we all wear it and we all wear one, man, we
Then
gotta,
we're sharing the
man,
load.
I'm
We're
saying,
sharing the load. We're splitting it. We're doing it together as a community.
and because of this
And lift
post traumatic
somebody else's
slavery,
crown. Exactly. Lift somebody else's crown if you see it falling a little bit. Pick them up. There's nothing wrong. with uplifting somebody else if you
And
see them struggling.
helping. That's another trauma that we have due to post-traumatic slavery. Like, we
Oh,
have brilliant ideas that if we just band it together, maybe put some of our money together, or whatever the case may be, we could be successful. Start teaching our kids financial literacy at a young age that these young white babies already know already. Having piggy
exactly.
banks, learning how to pay bills and all that.
Exactly. Stop putting the cable bill in your kids' names at 2. You know, stop
Messing
doing
up
that.
their credit
Like,
if you not
start.
paying it.
There's really not a right way to do it, but there's definitely a wrong way. So you feel me? And I pushed out. There's no rule book to parenting or anything like that. You feel me? You feel me? But there's definitely a wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that common sense comes in. You know what's wrong. You know what's wrong. You know what you shouldn't be teaching your child to grow and go out into the world and be and to live and
Mm-hmm.
survive and to be prosperous.
100%. You feel me? Just on that financial literacy aspect, like most people get kicked out at the age of 18 without financial literacy.
Yeah, like
And
how
what's
that
that
work?
do? Drowning them in debt.
Throwing them to the wolves of the world. Like, no. Let your
Mm-hmm.
child help them figure it out first.
Young,
Like here at Macon, we consider youth till 26, but hopefully you don't take them till they're 26.
right?
Hopefully you don't take them till they're 26. But you like you can't kick them out at 18, right? That's an 8-year difference, almost 10 years. And they're not ready to go out into the world at that point. They still need help and guidance. They still need help and guidance, and there's nothing wrong with that. White parents don't kick their kids out. They get to
Now they
stay
send
until they
them to
graduate
college,
through
and then they
college
come
or
right back.
the building of a business, whatever they're doing after high school. They get to figure it out and get fully, fully, fully established on their feet before they have to leave the nest. And Black people need to be more accepting and okay with that. That's your child. Your
Mm-hmm.
child that you laid down and had. So don't send them out into the world and throw them to the wolves.
100%. But y'all, is it all good to conclude, G? Got
I'm
anything else?
good. I think we had a good podcast, good dialogue.
Yes,
Uh
indeed.
y'all tap in.
Yeah, we put this up for y'all because we know that y'all have experienced traumas yourself. Even if it's one we already mentioned, just state your opinion on it, how it shaped you. The whole nine. But we appreciate Charles for tapping in with us. His great message. And we appreciate all the viewers that we had today. But just to conclude, make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Give me 1 second here. Oh, yep. Already got me. So we got Make a Chess Move, Make a Culture Move, www.makeachessmove.org. We got Facebook, Macam303, Instagram, Macam303, Twitter, Macam303, and Pinterest, Macam303. Make sure you tap into all of those and follow us. Give us a quick follow. Subscribe to our YouTube at Make a Chess Move Macam. Please cop our Macam apparel. As you can see, this luxurious hat.
Get some
And as
gear.
always, it's been
Hey,
a
yeah, the
pleasure.
little exclusive insider. So I'm working on y'all. Macam
Okay.
bonnets and do rags. Stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say to y'all.
Stay
The
tuned.
bonnets and the do rags.
That was an exclusive,
Mm.
no doubt. But yes, it's been your boy Mark J, homegirl
G.
G. Absolutely. And y'all Macam out there, we appreciate y'all.
Y'all Macam.